entertainmentbuddha.com.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Wah, wah, wah. Dun, 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 dun. Wah, wah, wah. Dun, 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 dun. Wah, 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 wah. Hey now, everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Star Wars Time. It's Matt, it's Nick, and of course, we've got Pete with us because that motherfucker refuses to not participate in an episode of the show. So we're back, we're ready to talk all things Star Wars news, and we've got some pretty decent stuff to talk about. Star Wars Resistance, the new anime, which I know some of you don't want to call it anime, and honestly, after watching it, I don't even know if I call it anime, but whatever. It's a new animated series. It's out. You can actually watch the first 3 episodes through Disney Now. That's the new branding of their app. So if you have the old Disney XD app, get rid of it. It doesn't work. Disney Now. You've got 3 episodes, which is about, almost 2 hours of content at this point.
Right up front. First episode was 43 minutes, and the next 2 were 22 apiece. So it's a good chunk of time.
Yeah, so we got that to talk about. We've got some episode 9 stuff to talk about, some new set picks. Awesome, right? We've been wanting some of those. We've got another episode 9 rumor to dive into, one that, quite frankly, is kind of ridiculous in some respects, but also makes complete sense in others. So, I mean, I'm jacked to talk about that. And then, obviously, in the new age of Star Wars, we also have some bullshit to talk about. Yeah. And that's what we're going to lead with. So
we'll get the bullshit out the way right up front.
Yeah. Go ahead, buddy. I mean, and you kind of introduced this today, and when you dropped me the link, I was like, all right, what the fuck is this? And then you clarified it saying, yeah, it's a big thread, but basically the alt-right has won again.
Yeah, they kicked out a Star Wars writer. If you guys are familiar with the Aftermath series and the writer of those, Chuck Wendick, he's also written some of the comic books for Marvel and for Star Wars.
I mean, you have to argue one of the more major Star Wars authors at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he was essentially given the task of kicking off the new EU.
Did he do all 3 of the Aftermaths or just 2 of the 3?
He did. He did all 3 from
Right. And those are considered basically the new canon.
Yeah, that kicks off new canon post episode 6 because Aftermath picks up right after episode 6. Previously, if you were referring to the old EU, you had True Set Recur, and then you went into the X-Wing series. Now you have Aftermath, and that's where it picks up, and that's where we immediately start, picking up from the Imperial remnants, and we also start learning about, Operation or Inferno Squadron a little bit, Operation Cinder or something like that. That was Palpatine's plan to burn everything the fuck down. So you start learning about these things, and also you start picking up some threads of, the coming of the First Order very early.
Right. I mean, they were meant to serve as a written prequel to the new trilogy.
Exactly. So there was a lot of content. He's a very fiery guy. I follow Chuck on Twitter. I'll preface this by saying that I am not a fan of his writing style. I think I've mentioned it on the cast before.
I don't even know if we've said it, but he got James Gunn.
Yeah, he got gunned down, pun intended.
Straight up, same thing.
Yeah. So essentially, if you follow him on Twitter, he's a very fiery guy. He gets very political, and he goes after people that he disagrees with. He's very passionate. He will not take shit, and he will go after people.
He's been beat up heavily for his inclusion of LG, what is it?
BT.
Yeah, there you go. Q. That community. He included some gay characters in the Aftermath series.
Yeah, the first book he included a gay. I think it was a lesbian couple. And he got attacked immediately. I mean, and he was not one to back down. Just
a little context. The guy's been kicked in the teeth for years now because he, as an artist, chose to include different type of people.
Yeah. And after, you know, like Matt said, it's been a few years. Aftermath came out in 2016, I believe. And, you know, he was never discouraged by...
Oh, dude, it would have been before that, because weren't some of those dropping around TFA?
Yeah, maybe 2015. Yeah, maybe 2015.
Yeah.
But, like, he was never discouraged by you know, his bosses. I think it was LFL is one of the main publishers that he was attached to for the Star Wars books, and then he also wrote for Marvel. He was
the point is, I mean, he got ejected from his Marvel deal with Star Wars comic books.
Yeah, exactly. So he can.
So I mean, this guy has done novels, but he also got penned to do this what was it, like Shadow of
Vader? Yeah,
Shadow of Vader, like quick comic book series, and he's still going to be credited on 1, 2, 3, but he essentially got ejected for 4 and 5.
Yeah,
and just like I said, this is he got gunned because, like Nick has said, the guy's been taking it and probably dishing it out for years now. But because he's also been standing up for his political beliefs, the alt-right waged another smear and essentially forced, ultimately, Disney to cave again, and they did.
Yeah,
and it's a sad state of affairs, my friends. I mean, what side you're on, you gotta understand what's happening here. I mean, people are losing their careers over their political beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like we've already mentioned...
That's what it is, man. I mean, when you break it down, whatever people want to throw up, like, oh, you know, this picture, it's all right now about your political beliefs. I mean,
yeah,
they are going after you.
Yeah, I mean, in the case of Gunn, I mean, they really reached for him because he was like... They had to go
dude,
way,
I followed him. I mean,
back.
he would drill Trump.
Yeah.
Daily.
Yeah.
And he got taken out, and guess what? He hasn't been back.
No, well, he just got signed on to write Suicide Squad 2.
Right, but dude, he has not been on
Twitter
since.
No, but I mean, this is what I was telling you offline. It seems like the way to go about it is the Rian Johnson way. Like, Rian Johnson has the innate ability... Because he
just eat it.
He just eats it, and like he's one of the most attacked people on the internet. But he just eats it. He says some funny shit every now and then everything else he just lets go.
No, you're right. And the difference is he's not weaving in his politics where these guys were.
Yeah. Like Chuck was very outspoken about his political beliefs. So is James. I mean, there are others out there as well.
But that's like when everyone wants to get all hardcore about the First Amendment. I mean, we're literally crushing people's First Amendment, but in the end, that's what people have to understand. There is no such thing as free speech.
No, there's consequences.
You can't be persecuted
regardless.
by the government, but you can definitely be charged by the court of public opinion.
People, your employers. Yeah, I mean, there will be consequences.
The government
regardless.
can't fuck with you yet.
Yeah.
But your employer and the public can, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's enough to sink you.
And just a heads up for anybody who's relatively in the public eye, even if in the smallest degree, it doesn't matter if you put in your Twitter bio, opinions are my own. It does not matter if you put that. It's not going to do shit.
Ain't going to hold up.
No.
It's not going to hold up.
If you try to point to your Twitter bio when your boss says, you're getting fired because of interactions online, like regardless of what your political beliefs are, that's not going to save you. So we're not going to go.
I mean, honestly, if you're smart, listen to me. And I know a lot of older people, I think they're hopefully getting it at this point, but I doubt it because humans are humans. But you young ones, I mean, just who cares? I'm telling you right now. I mean, I made it, hell, into almost my mid-20s before social media even spawned.
Yeah, I had...
my life was great. My life was great.
Yeah.
And I understand what it does to you. There is a natural drive to want to be seen. I get it. listen, I mean, I've run a website. We're doing this dumb podcast. I mean, we're both guilty of it. But you got to understand, at one point in time, it can burn you. Like, it can take down your life.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
I mean, it can ruin you.
It has definitely become more than the creators intended. I will say that.
Oh, dude, it is a tool of destruction.
Yeah, I mean, I turned 30 this year, and I didn't get my first social media account until I was 17, and that was Facebook, and that was when Facebook still required you to have a .edu email to log in. Like, you needed a college email, and man, I really do think they should have kept it that way, because maybe that would have helped shit out. But
it's insane what it's all turned into. Yeah. It's interesting. I'd love to study it.
It's crazy,
but it's also very sad.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not going to go too far into the political realm here. Just a heads up, if you guys have been following the Star Wars
I mean, if you like Chuck, he's
Chuck.
out. He's done.
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically said, I have a Star Wars project here or there, but in terms of Marvel Star Wars, I'm out. Marvel anything, I'm out.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah, so if you wanted to read the series of events, you can go to terribleminds.com. That's actually Chuck's blog, and he has a post up on it right now, kind of recapping, all of the Twitter posts that he had. Or if you could go to his Twitter page, and you would just have to kind of, reverse follow it up his feed, and you'll see the sequence of events. So that piece of news is out the way. Now we're all talking about Star Wars shit, whether it be leaks.
Star Wars.
We're going to talk about set picks, leaks, new shit, old shit. Here we go.
Star Wars.
All right, so first thing that we're going to kick off is some Episode 9 set picks. And we haven't gotten many of them so far. JJ's been pretty good about keeping shit on lockdown. We had some early shots of Poe Dameron and Finn something, who knows what his last name is, on some sort of grassy plain.
He has no last name. His name is Finn.
Finn
period.
2187. That's
Finn nothing.
Yeah. So
Finn.
These new set picks that we got are of a desert location. Surprise, surprise. Star Wars has never seen a desert planet before, so this is brand new. But this is looking, we're seeing some cardboard cutouts that, in the article that we're referencing, makingstarwars.net, of course. Pretty good resource there for people out there who want Star Wars news. They have some cutouts that look like they're kind of placeholders for aliens.
What the hell do you think about this shit?
To me, what I'm seeing here is some sort of settlement. It looks like a refugee settlement, maybe, because looks like we have.
Do you see all, like, as Nick referenced, and if I ever get smart, I would try to link this stuff in the post, but I never do. But if I do, I mean, dude, there's like probably 30 or more cutouts.
Yeah. It looks like they're
supposed to be like some sort of people.
Yeah, it looks like placeholders, and it looks like, the way that they're positioned and then the heights of the cutouts, it almost looks like they're families. Like there's clearly two taller,
like nomadic type of people, but not sand people.
No.
Definitely not sand people. I mean, I'm gonna be dead serious. When I look at this, it reminds me of Jeddah.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Yeah,
just because of the mountains contrasted with the desert.
That's exactly.
But yeah. I mean, it could clearly pass for Tatooine or Jakku, or a new one. I mean, who the fuck do we know?
Yeah. So, in these set picks, you see a lot of different things. Looks like you have a lot of gazebo style tents. It's not really. They don't really go all the way to the ground, but. They're definitely some sort of shelter. You have the cutouts that are representing some sort of families or nomadic people. You can see speeders here and there. And then according to, the Reddit poster who threw these up, they said they were pretty sure they saw Daisy Ridley or perhaps another actress getting a guided camel tour with a heavy police escort. So... this is all in Jordan, so all of this is taking place in Jordan. This is where it's being filmed, and it's known as the Wadi Rum set, or Wadi Rum, WADIRUM set. So it's
this shit's also kind of biblical looking.
It is. It's It's very interesting. I really do think that this may be some sort of nomadic settlement. Like you said.
I mean, is it going to be a known planet or new?
I don't know, dude. They've stayed away from known planets. Even though they are desert, they've kind of stayed away from them. And
yeah, you're right. I mean, they haven't gone to a known one yet, have they?
No. I mean, no. In the new trilogy, there has been we haven't gone to anything from the OT or even from the prequels. It's all been new stuff. So the only thing that I could think of is, this is an opportunity to go back to a place like Tatooine, perhaps. I don't know why you would do that. Like, I don't know if there's like some sort of journey that needs to be taken there, but I think that this could be another new planet. I could see that.
In the end, all this again confirms is I want this movie to be 4 hours.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yes.
I mean, dude, I want this to be a 2-film movie.
Yeah. Give me episode 9 and episode 9.5 or episode 9 part 1, episode 9.2. Like, there's a lot to cover, and I mean,
well, I mean, there's arguments for there is or there isn't. I mean,
yeah.
I'm a junkie, and I could take either or. Being a junkie, I want more, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but I also understand it's not going to be that. I mean, I think we'd be lucky for this to clock in at 2:45.
Yeah, I really do hope it comes in around there. I mean, that's the time for TLJ, and TLJ covered a lot of ground. I mean, you could argue that there could have been, 20 minutes or so cut out of that movie, but I think that there was still, there's still an opportunity to at least go 240 with episode 9. There's a lot of stuff to cover, and I think that you would do the fans a service by giving them as much as possible. But yeah, man, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in these photos. A lot of it's a little blurry because it's not coming from high quality cameras. If you want to look at them, you can see all the stuff that we've described. I'm definitely thinking new planet. I think that this is some sort of nomadic settlement, if not a refugee camp. That's also possible. We're talking about a galaxy that is now under the vice grip of the First Order. So that refugees are possible. There are people that are going to be displaced looking for new homes, driven out of their cities, maybe out of their, off of their own home worlds. So my first thought when I saw this was refugee camp, but I'm very interested to see if we find out more about this location.
Well, I mean, like we were saying offline, I mean, we now know, there's at least 2 planets, right? We've talked about the jungle location.
Yep.
We've talked about this kind of open field, lake-ish location, and now we have this desert location.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could argue the jungle and the open field are one and the same, but I don't know. I think they're kind of different. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, it seems like we're going to have, which usually happens in Star Wars and in most movies, we're going to have at least 3 main plot threads going on that ultimately will convene to resolve the film.
Yeah, so it seems like we're probably going to follow that formula again, which has worked to great success in the past.
So who do you think's going to be on the desert? I mean, we clearly know who's on the plains planet.
Yeah, that's Poe and Finn.
Which I think fans want.
Yeah, exactly. I would like those two to get together because, I mean, they're the buddy. They're like, they're the two.
Do you think Rose rolls with them, or do you think Rose possibly heads off with Rey, or just chills and they temper her back and she's just kind of background like how Jar Jar got reined in?
Yeah, dude, that's the hard one to pin down because it seems like everybody has kind of paired up, right? Like you have Chewie and Rey. They're together now. Chewie, Rey, BB-8.
Well, do you think is Rey the one that is on this desert planet?
I was gonna go in that direction. Yeah.
We think the Falcon is confirmed on the jungle planet.
Yeah.
And that's kind of her whip with Chewie.
Man, this is a tough one. They could be jumping around. I feel like there could be, we'll talk about, we have another article we're going to talk about next.
Or could the desert be Kylo? I mean, who knows?
Could be Kylo. If this is a refugee camp, it could be First Order kind of, run. They're trying to keep people, herded together, keep them controlled. It's very possible. We also, like I teased this next article, and might as well just jump right into it. But this one has to do with a rumor that Jesus, I can't even believe I'm saying it, that Emperor Palpatine will make a return in Episode 9.
What? Hold on. There is some validity to this if it goes a certain way.
Exactly. Now I want to.
There's some legit canon shit that could happen.
Yeah,
here.
I want to preface this by saying that he is not going to come back alive. Like, he is not going to be a.
We're talking pre-recorded hologram.
Yeah, like, this is not a flesh and blood character. Right. Or anything like that. This is, if you've, and you know what we're referring to is from the Battlefront 2 storyline, all canon, by the way, all canon story. And it was based around hidden bunkers that Palpatine had established on different planets.
Well, I think it's even referencing the Aftermath.
It is.
Trilogy,
They're Aftermath. Yeah, they're in the Aftermath books, and that was what essentially Palpatine used these observatories in some cases to find out about this, you know, this wild space and this, you know, I think he had an inkling that there was some sort of, you know, hidden Sith figure or dark side figure in wild space.
He could easily have been tapping into Snoke as Snoke was tapping into him.
Yeah, exactly. But this new...
And they're almost like getting boners for each other.
It's very possible. Maybe, you know, if Palpatine would have
Snoke
lived...
bone.
He could have, Snoke and Palp could have teamed up,
Man.
but...
How bad would that have bent people off
God.
if Snoke and Palpatine ended up hooking up?
Dude, that would have been so dumb. Anyway.
It would be bedlam.
It would. It would have just ruined... if you want to really blow up Star Wars...
people would have stabbed their eyes out.
Yeah. It would have been a goddamn... Yeah, it would have been just crazy.
Riots. I mean, riots.
Anyway.
I think people would have ripped their seats out of the floor and threw them at the screen.
So the rumor here is that I'll read it straight from this Express article. Sources tell Express.
It's I'm telling you guys, it's somewhat legit.
It could be
for a little bit, and then it gets wrong.
So it says Emperor Palpatine will play a role in Episode 9, specifically Kylo Ren with an ignited lightsaber, presumably his crossguard saber. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be. Cutting through a blast door on some jungle planet and entering what appears to be a vault. Now, if
there's the jungle planet.
There's the jungle planet, and then we also know that there's vaults. Like, if you've played through Battlefront 2 storyline, that was one of the primary things that Luke Skywalker was looking for, was a vault that was Emperor Palpatine's vault that he was looking for. He was looking for a compass, and he found it, and that's what gave him the coordinates to Acto. Eventually, Kylo is holding a square object that projects a lifelike projection of Emperor Palpatine. Palpatine's hand is raised in front of Kylo Ren, showing blueprints or plans that could be a new weapon.
See, dude, I honestly could buy into that 100%.
Definitely. I agree.
And the more I read this, I think the fact that I think this article is dumb is where they try to disprove themselves where they don't disprove themselves.
Exactly. Like, we know... Okay, so what has been discussed there, like, that part of the rumor is 100% accurate. I mean, like we talked about, there's a jungle planet that is confirmed.
It's believable by 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, all of this stuff we know is already going to be present in the movie. The jungle planet is there. We know that these vaults that were specifically built by Emperor Palpatine.
Dude, we saw, I mean, all you TLJ haters, I mean, we saw Luke exploring the fucking vaults.
Yeah, I mean... So, and then the scenario. Okay, so this is what I'm reading from an Esquire article right now. It says that scenario.
I mean, didn't Battlefront end with Kylo essentially landing on the same planet as a vault and killing Homeboy?
Yeah, he killed. I can't remember his name. It was Iden's husband.
Iden's homie.
Yeah, he killed Iden's husband, and that gave them the beacon.
Literally, yeah, where they could find Poe and
Lor Santeca. Yeah, exactly. So we know, that he at least knows about the locations of these vaults. So it says the scenario seems unlikely considering what Star Wars Wiki says of Palpatine's death, and this is where it gets squirrely because they try to it doesn't line up with shit. It says, prior to his demise, he created the contingency to destroy the Empire in the event of his death, believing that the Empire did not deserve to survive without its emperor. That is true.
Totally.
As a consequence, the Imperial remnants were further weakened and less able to resist the New Republic during the waning days of the Galactic Civil War. Accurate. Ultimately, the Empire capitulated after the Battle of Jakku. Accurate.
Yes.
Following his Sidious legacy, became the base of what became the First Order, a hermit state led by Supreme Leader Snoke, who was also a practitioner of the dark side of the Force.
All right. For what we know, yes.
Yeah. And then it says the reign of Snoke would also... Okay, yeah. And then it tells him how Snoke died. But that doesn't disprove anything. I don't see...
That's my point. You can read that whole statement, and it's like... what's your fucking point?
Yeah, that it does not disprove anything. We know that the vaults are canon. We know that Palpatine created these vaults to house materials that he thought were important to not only himself but also to the Imperial legacy, and that's why they were.
Like, I mean, I guess the only reason this thing's worth talking about is at the beginning they're almost implying that this rumor may or may not confirm that there's still some connection between him and Rey.
Yeah, I don't think there's any connection between him and Rey. I think that.
I mean, they even concede it, but then they're just like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah, and this is dumb.
Yeah, so I don't know why.
I mean, the more I read it, I'm just like, this is just fucking stupid.
Yeah,
like these people are just fucking dumb.
It's like you had something and then you tried to disprove it by not disproving anything. I don't understand it, but
I have to remember to link this just so you guys can read this, because I mean, I'm honestly questioning why Nick and I are even talking about this. Outside of the fact that there's a rumor that Palpatine could be in it, which I do think is worth talking about.
Yeah, there's. I mean, if you just read
this article is literally it's lunacy on digital paper.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
If it would have just stopped after the initial rumor describing what the scene would be,
yeah, great.
It was
That's
good.
Great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
They even put it in a block quote with a fucking drop shadow.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been it. Perfect. But they just went on to step on their own dick, and like they really fucked up their own article.
That scenario seems unlikely considering what this says, and it literally says nothing but shit that's basically confirmed.
So, but here's the thing. They were talking about these, the contingency plan to destroy the Empire, and then also I assume they were talking about Operation
Cinder.
Cinder.
Question, okay, their whole question is like, would Palpatine really do it? Yeah, it's what's in the fucking canon, motherfuckers. Yeah,
it's like it literally happened. Like it literally
like
happened.
What the fuck what's the question mark all about?
Yeah, like if you played through,
that's what it fucking is, pal.
If you guys still haven't played through the storyline to Battlefront 2, do yourself a favor. That game is $10 now. Go pick up that game, play through the storyline. Well worth it, and you will see that Inferno Squadron was sent out to destroy these bunkers, but they didn't do it. Like they were stopped. Like Del, that was the guy's name, Del Miko. Like,
yeah, but even in the end, even like, I mean, Iden's dad, who was like a super duper admiral or whatever. Yeah. I mean, he was glassing like his own planets.
He was blowing up his own planets, and they were
because Palpatine. That was the directive. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what Palpatine wanted. He felt like if he died, the Empire sucked.
Yeah, there was no reason for it to live on.
It should fucking die, and that's what he wanted. But he also wanted it to be something to essentially be the Phoenix, to be reborn from the ashes of the destruction of the Empire.
Yeah, like these vaults were not destroyed.
People, it's not that hard to fucking figure out.
So
we're not talking about Shakespeare here.
Yeah, just go play that game. Go play through that storyline, because it'll give you a lot of insight into how these vaults play into the greater storyline, and also what the contingency plan is and Operation Cinder, and what the role of Inferno Squadron was in all of this. It's very good, and I mean it's well worth your time to play through it. I mean it's a probably a 15 to 20 hour long playthrough. Good stuff. So go read that, and it'll give you more kind of background on this. But I can definitely see a scene like what's being described. Kylo cutting open one of these vaults and then finding what is essentially a holocron from Palpatine.
Yeah, I mean, will it happen? Who the fuck knows? Probably not.
Yeah.
But
I think it would be pretty cool. All right. Yeah. So go read that. We'll try to link this article for you guys to go read it yourselves, but it's very interesting.
I'm making a conscious effort right now to not close the tabs. Because I usually close them as we finish stuff out, just so I don't get distracted.
Yeah. So this next one that we're going to talk about is some more set picks, but it's going to be for a different property. It's going to be for The Mandalorian. And this is kind of talking about the Imperial Remnant. So,
correct me if I'm wrong. This is 6 years post Jedi or 3?
6 from what
It's 6, right?
Yeah. Pretty sure.
I think it is. Yeah, it's 6.
Mm-hmm. So in this,
if you're pretty sure and I'm pretty sure, that equals
probably
100%.
Probably right. Probably 100% right.
Pete, what do you think?
There we go.
Yeah.
Confirmation.
He rubbed his face. Yep, rubbed his face on a coin.
But so these set pics show stormtroopers on the set. On what looks like, in front of some sort of building. I mean,
it's still very Tatooine-ish, desert-ish hovel, but you also have a lot of evergreens.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if they're gonna just wipe those out.
Yeah, you got some greenery there, but it does look like, if you remember, like right up front in episode 4 when they were going through the spaceport.
Even episode 1, it looks like fucking Anakin's house.
It does. You have what is essentially like a brownish kind of blast door, very small, and then you have a completely gray stone outside exterior of the building, and then you have 2 stormtroopers standing there in full stormtrooper armor. So really what this poses the question is, to what level is the Imperial Remnant going to be present in this series? And do you think that the main character is associated with the Imperial Remnant, or is he just like, are they just part of the background?
Yeah, I think they'll play parts of stories here or there, just to kind of weave things together. I mean, I really think the main guy is the main guy. I mean, he is a Mandalorian doing what Mandalorians do, and that's fucking shit up.
Yeah. So
I mean, he's not even going to be Boba Fett, Jango Fett, not Mandalorians. But in terms of what they represented, I mean, this guy isn't even limited to being a bounty hunter. I mean, he could be anything, really.
Yeah. I mean, Mandalorians aren't like by nature set to be.
I think we said it the last time that they're the Spartans of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, they were. I mean, if you want to go back to
either Halo Spartans or 300 Spartans, same shit.
Go back to old canon, and there was the Mandalorian Wars, which Revan and Malak were fighting in prior to their disappearance into the unknown regions of space. I mean, like the Mandalorians were literally fighting to take over the fucking galaxy.
Yeah,
like
they're legit.
Yeah, there's some damn good fighters, but. I guess if he does end up playing a role of a bounty hunter, I know that they don't need to be bounty hunters, but it is kind of a recognizable trope within Star Wars is that people who wear that type of armor tend to be bounty hunters, smugglers, scoundrel type characters. Do you think that he could be under the employ of the Imperial Remnant, or is he possibly just a freelancer going about his day? Do you think that he could have some
I mean, I don't know what you want to call him. I mean, is he a scoundrel? Is he a bounty hunter? Is he a smuggler? I think he could fit any of those roles.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's the best description's probably a mercenary.
Yeah, that's actually probably the best way to put it. He's a gun for hire.
Right.
And
I mean, he'll do whatever you want for money.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, that's what they said about Boba and Jango too. And I know that we're not trying to draw too many similarities between this character, whoever he may be, and
I mean, dude, Jango more than Boba. Why'd Jango do what he did? He did it for money.
He was like,
he let himself be cloned for money. I mean, he did the job of course, not for money.
Yeah.
I mean, he was money driven. Boba was revenge driven.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you watch the Clone Wars, and hopefully he will even make a return in the Resurgence, because I mean, I remember the last Celebration, they showed a clip where essentially him and Cad Bane had a falling out, and they enter into a duel, and you find out how Boba gets a dent in his helmet, but you also find out why Cad Bane doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, you get a lot of Boba's story in the Clone Wars, and he's hell bent on his drive is vengeance.
Yeah.
And then ultimately he's trained by Aurra Sing and
Sing.
the others in the ways of, hey, it's about the money and bounty hunting, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But they're not the same. They don't have the same drives as a Mandalorian.
Yeah, and I mean, now we know through Solo why Aurra Sing isn't around anymore. That was the doing of Beckett. So,
who got punked by Han.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of these story threads are starting to come together, which was really cool. I mean, if you knew anything about the expanded universe or the cartoon series before seeing Solo, and you heard that Aurra Sing call out, that was really, one of those little lore nuggets that was awesome for hardcore fans. But, I mean, there's a lot of intriguing shit about this Mandalorian show, just because
totally
there's so much ground to cover, and then if you include the Imperial Remnant in it, you add in another factor that is still going to be like there's still going to be an instigating force within the galaxy. So they may be.
I like how these people, I mean, all respect, but what do you mean you can't confirm if they're different or if they're the same as the ones we saw in Return of the Jedi? I mean,
yeah, if we're talking,
those are original trilogy stormtrooper uniforms.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that those are not First Order trooper style uniforms.
They're just dudes not wearing their helmets.
Yeah.
This is like extras during a break.
Yeah, like they're eating.
I mean, you can see them holding their helmets.
Yeah, they're eating a sandwich right now. So just because they don't have their helmets on, I mean, I'm sure if they stuck around for 20 more minutes to take another picture, they probably.
Yeah, I mean, they even have the black caps on, like I said.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude, I think the Imperial Remnant is going to be an interesting factor in this, though. I mean, you're going to have the formation of the New Republic happening, it seems like. They may not be completely, formed yet. There still may be, like, this loose rebel alliance that is
I mean, this could be super, super beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, just rumblings of people saying, hey, we should maybe do this.
Yeah.
And maybe Mandalorian kind of weaves his way through those circles for one reason or the other.
And that, he works his way from the Outer Rim to the core, the more core worlds. And then the Outer Rim is where, it's being kind of proposed in this article that the Outer Rim is where this Imperial Remnant is living, because the Outer Rim was always outside of the reach of, the Imperial or the Galactic Republic governmental reach.
Right, and this takes place well before even Star Wars Resistance, which we're going to get into.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ground to cover before you get to the fully formed New Republic, the radical First Order arm that breaks off from it. We still need to work through a lot of stuff. I mean, at this time period, like Luke, Han, Leia would still be very prominent.
I mean, dude, this is, if we believe what we believe, this is only a year after the Battle of Jakku.
Yeah, because that was 5 AB. I mean, like, yeah.
Right. 5 years after Battle of Yavin or whatever.
Yeah, that was when the when the Battle of Jakku happened. That was essentially the demise of the First Order, or not the First Order, the Empire. That was like their ultimate defeat before the remnants started to make their way into the outer reaches of the galaxy. Yeah, dude, I think there's a lot to cover here, and there's going to be some really cool shit that happens in this show. And I mean, I am very happy that Jon Favreau is the one that's kind of taking the helm on this, because he is proven to be a really good storyteller with the proprities that
well, there's another thing. I think it's just rumor at this point, but I mean, I believe we talked about that Bryce Dallas Howard, and who else was going to direct? It's
Bryce Dallas Howard. Filoni was going to direct episode 1, and there was
another kind of actor / director type.
Oh man, there was one of the directors from Jessica Jones was going to do a piece, and
I just know there's a rumor that at least Bryce Dallas Howard may direct and also star in an episode.
That would be very interesting. I have it up now. Deborah Chow's the Jessica Jones director. Filoni, Taika Waititi.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok director.
Him and Bryce.
Yeah, so I mean Taika. If you throw in another fucking Kiwi character, that would be hilarious. If he did play like a Korg type character. Just, I don't know if he can do many other accents, but it would be kind of cool to see him drop himself in the episode that he's making. But yeah, dude, this show's cutting up to be pretty good. I'm fucking excited. If nothing else, like if this is the only Star Wars release material for the Disney streaming service in 2019, I'm still 100% in.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, so
even though Disney now essentially gives you brand new shows for free with minimal commercials, and we can talk about this as we move into it.
Yeah.
But
you know,
is that not nuts?
I know, right?
Like how few commercials there were.
There were so few commercials, and
there might have been 4 total over almost 2 hours of content.
Yeah, and they gave us 3 weeks of content right up front, and you know, if you guys haven't seen it yet, and you've been waiting for more Star Wars, brand new Star Wars content, Star Wars Resistance is now officially released. That it aired on Monday, October 7th, and the first 3 episodes are now up and available on Disney now, so you can do that on your phone or you can do it online.
Yeah, and by 3 episodes we mean the pilot, which is essentially 2 episodes, but I still count it as 1.
Yep.
And then episode 2, which is only airing this Sunday, or this past Sunday, which would be the 14th. And episode 3, which is going to air on the 21st.
Yeah, so they went way ahead to give people who have the streaming service or check the online,
Yeah, you basically, database. I mean, I assume to do what we did, you have to have a viable
cable
subscription of some sort. I mean, PlayStation View passed for me, so
I
have
good Spectrum, so I was able to catch it all. So
exactly. So I mean, I guess I don't know if you could just watch it free, or maybe you watch that you're forced to watch more commercials. But if you sign up with a TV provider, I'm telling you, you can watch all 3 episodes, which is it's about an hour 45 minutes worth of content, with maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes total of commercials.
Yeah, I mean, the commercials that you catch, too, were so short. They're only like 15 seconds. They're very short commercials.
Right. And,
I mean, so let's just jump right into it. I mean, I thought it was pretty fun. It was pretty good. And I thought, I think there's like a pretty good future in this show, especially how they've set it up so far.
No, I agree. I mean, it's the pilot especially does what a pilot should do, and it reels you in. It kind of dangled some of the carrots of, hey, this is related to the old and the new trilogies, but it's also its own thing. So here are all these new people, this new setting, these new relationships. And then the subsequent episodes, when they settled into their 22-minute run times, I mean, they moved into a more traditional cartoon where you had they still would give you glimpses of the overarching plot, but each episode has its own complete plot arc to move through.
Yeah, and I mean, so I assume that most of you have watched the Clone Wars. Now, Clone Wars was always prefaced by essentially what was a message that summarized the plot for that individual episode, and you can it feels like Resistance could still have those even though they don't. Like each episode, and this is a TV show that is probably geared more towards young adults and children. It has its own. Each episode has its own kind of like moral story to tell you.
Oh, dude, it's like I mean, I don't want to call it a sitcom, but it kind of is. I mean, it's one of those standard 30-minute with commercials type of shows. I mean, there's going to be an overarching plot throughout the season where the main narrative moves, but each episode is going to tell its own story or lesson.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like there's a heavy,
which adds to the overarching thing.
Yeah. There's a heavy emphasis on lessons, especially in the first 3, because of the character of Kaz. Kaz is like a, he's essentially like a not really a hotshot, but like a newbie, New Republic pilot. He's, eager to get out there, eager to make a name for himself. And
I thought that was interesting. I mean, because I know you and I, we didn't really dig into it. So, I mean, I'm sure it was revealed other places, but I mean, it was confirmed in the pilot that, I mean, he was flying for the New Republic, and they were in, like, the pimp model X-Wings.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a nerd, so I looked into all the shit. I mean, those X-Wings are, like, the pimpiest of pimps. I mean, the Resistance wasn't even using those X-Wings.
No, they weren't. I mean, like, that was top-tier gear.
I think these were, like, 85s, like T-85s or whatever. And the ones in the original were T-65s. And then the ones Resistance used were like T-80s or T-75s.
Yeah, so you could tell that the New Republic was well established, and they had a very strong
and
military
their
arm.
logo. I mean, it's kind of like the Rebellion logo mixed with the Jedi logo, but with that star flare.
Yeah, there's
thing
like
going
like a sunburst around it or something like that. It was kind of cool looking, and it was very interesting. I mean, like, they opened it very strong because it opened on a dogfight, like
as a star. I mean, they played that gag where they kind of made it like, oh man, is this like a big ship or a planet? And it's revealed it's just an astromech in an X-wing cockpit.
Exactly. Yeah, I saw that coming too. It was cool how they did it though, but it kind of shows you right up front. It shows you Kaz's piloting prowess. He's dogfighting some First Order TIE fighters.
Von Reg, Major Von Reg is essentially a pimp. I mean, he wears red trooper armor, and he sports a red TIE Interceptor.
Yeah, the TIE
with a hyperdrive.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the first thing that I, aside from the red coloration, like when it zipped off in the hyperdrive, I was like, oh shit, that's definitely a souped up model, because as most of us know, TIEs do not have hyperdrives.
Right, and I mean that's. To me, that was the beauty of the pilot, especially, is it had a lot of great Easter eggs / references to the franchise.
Yeah, and
I mean the Interceptor and the fact that it was made known that TIEs didn't have hyperdrives, but now they do. So that shows you that something's happening and that this First Order is doing more advanced shit.
Yeah.
You had the connection where Kaz and Poe run in, and Poe takes him on this blockade runner and is like, yo, this has been in service since the Battle of Scarif all the way through the Battle of Jakku.
Yep.
I mean, that to me was like the brilliant stuff.
Yeah, that was really cool. And then the other one, well, you have a write-up on the Easter eggs that you found in there, and then the third one, the Greg Proops as the race announcer.
Oh, dude, when I heard it, I was like, that it's the same two-headed motherfucker here.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, everybody remembers the announcer from episode
Anyone
1, so.
That's a Star Wars fan that's worth their fucking salt, if you didn't pick that up, you suck.
Yeah, I mean, come on. That was such a distinctive voice, the Boonty Eve race
it's so blatant.
Announcer.
I mean, it's so blatant.
They threw that out there for everybody who's ever watched Star Wars and remembers shit. So that was really cool. But they also, in the pilot episode, like you said, they brought in the characters to reel you in. They brought in Phasma. They brought in Poe Dameron. They brought in BB-8. They brought in Leia. Like, so all of these characters that you recognize from the new trilogy are there to show you that this new character Kaz has significance, and what is going to be happening in this show is pivotal to not only the storyline of the show, but also the storyline of the new trilogy. So it was really cool to see them kind of
and that was kind of my point leading into episode 2 and 3. I mean 3 especially is. I mean, they were entertaining, but they really lacked that punch that the pilot had in terms of, hey, this show really exists to create a better bridge between Jedi period and TFA.
Yeah, yes.
Because that's a 38-year period.
Yeah, it's a long fucking time, and
this is honestly like telling you the grassroots of it.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I brought up to Matt. I actually just kind of said this offline, but it's interesting to see the dynamic between the New Republic and the Resistance, because the New Republic was at this point.
But we had learned this though, that the Resistance truly was like the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I don't want to say that they were kind of a rogue faction within the New Republic, because they weren't, but they were like the New Republic was essentially feeding them information on the First Order, right, so they could run their attacks.
Yeah, the New Republic was essentially America funding a third world country guerrilla outfit to pull a coup type of deal.
Exactly. Like the New Republic did not want to take outward military action against the First Order, so they were
Leia was shunned. Leia was shunned from the New Republic.
Yeah, she
shunned.
That's why she was not a senator.
They thought she was too radical. Like, Leia really just kind of wanted to stomp the shit out of these guys the moment they popped up on the radar.
Yeah,
and the New Republic was like, beat it, and she's like, all right, Resistance. But then the New Republic's like, yeah, you're probably right. Here you go.
Yeah, so
we're gonna give you intel and just do what you gotta do.
Yeah, so the first, that's how we meet Kaz, is that he's trying to pass. He was on a mission to pass information from the New Republic to the Resistance. He gets saved by Poe because this, like you said, Major Von Reg is a hotshot in his red TIE Interceptor. And he almost killed Kaz. Like, he disabled his X-Wing, and he was about to go in for the killing blow with a couple of proton torpedoes, but Poe Dameron came in, saved him at the last minute, and then set Kaz up for a little ding on the TIE Interceptor to give him some time to get away. So, and then Kaz goes on to give Poe the information and then also be recruited into the Resistance as a spy to sit on the, what was the name of the station? It was the Colossus refueling station. Yeah.
Yep. It's a Colossus. It's a fueling station. So, obviously it's busy. It's no different than a Mos Eisley spaceport in terms of the type of traffic it's going to get from all around the galaxy.
Exactly.
And the whole point, which, I'm glad we finally got clarified. The whole point of Poe recruiting Kaz to go to the Colossus was the fact that the Resistance knew for a fact that someone on the Colossus was friendly to the First Order and feeding them intel.
Yeah, so Kaz is recruited as a spy and placed on that station under the watchful eye of Jarek Yeager, who is a Yeager. I know. I gotta
say it. Yeager. I know. It's funny how they kept saying it.
I know. It's Yeager.
Yeager.
I don't like that, but I gotta get used to it. So,
me neither. It was weird, but that's how they do it.
So Yeager is a former rebellion.
Yeager.
He's a former rebellion pilot, but he is your typical "I'm done, I'm out of this" type of game, type of person. Like, he wants nothing to do with the Resistance. He's done his stint in the rebellion. Later in episode 3, we go on to find out that he's lost his family somehow. So he's done. And then when Poe comes to him and says, like, hey, this guy, I need you to watch this guy Kaz, he's going to be a spy for me. Jarek essentially tells him, like, hey, look, I'll keep an eye on him, but I'm not getting into your spy shit. Like, he'll be a mechanic on my crew, but I'm not going to help him with your spy bullshit for the Resistance. Like, that's his deal.
But you could tell by the end of the pilot that Yeager kind of developed a little liking for Kaz. Especially based on how Kaz raced. And
yeah, he showed his potential.
Right. Yeager's like, okay, well, while I don't want to get mixed up in this whole espionage bullshit, the kid's a good kid.
Yeah, and he also finds out that he is a terrible fucking mechanic.
Yeah. We learned that, and was that on the pilot, or was that kind of episode 2?
Episode 2, because that's when the pirate attack comes in. And
honestly, the best part about episode 2 was the fact that Cregan, one of the pirates, and again, sorry, spoilers, but it's out there on the app. You can watch it, but Cregan was literally wearing modified Mud Trooper armor.
Oh my god, yeah.
I don't know if you picked that up as like, dude, that's legitimately, they're just giving a straight throwback callback to Solo
yeah.
there.
Mimban Trooper.
And blatant, it's blatant.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, there's going to be stuff like that in this show, which is going to be really cool to pick up on. And so here's my favorite thing that they did is that they kept BB-8 as a persistent character. Like, they didn't take BB-8. Like, BB-8 didn't go back.
Yeah, I do. I think that's key. But, as we discussed, I do feel like... not so much even episode 2, but even there, I mean, you didn't even get the dick tease until the end. I mean, you got the tease at the end that, the pirates were working for the First Order.
Yeah.
To just basically kind of test the defenses of the Colossus.
Yeah.
But by episode 3, it was like, is this show even related to the overarching universe anymore?
Yeah, that was...
I mean, I feel like episode 3 just... was its own thing.
Yeah, that was a super contained episode that had no references back to the First Order or to a spy mission other than, like, him feeling like he got to do some spying on, I mean, spoilers here, on Yeager for Elijah Wood's character. He was what was his name? Ruskin? Rolskin?
Yeah, I think it was Rucklin.
Rucklin,
or something
yeah,
like
that's
that.
what it was.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's funny. For the longest time, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the same guy that voiced Ezra. And I remembered that Elijah had that gig, and sure enough.
But yeah, dude. So that episode 3 was definitely different.
It's the weakest. It's the weakest of the 3 released.
Yeah, I gotta agree. It focuses more on Kaz's morality, like his, like figuring out where he
exactly. Trying to understand who he is and who he is aligning himself with.
Yeah, I mean, essentially what that episode is trying to get across is that Kaz is a kid and he's new on the station and he wants to be liked. He wants to be in the spotlight. In the first episode, we see that, like, he challenges what ends up being the general or the commander of the Colossus's daughter to a race.
And he probably would have beat her if he had a better
Yeah,
sword.
I mean, if the fireball hadn't gone fireball, he might have won. But this kid, like, he wants to make a name for himself, and that's why, you see what happens in the very beginning with him telling Niku that he's the best pilot in the world, or in the galaxy.
Well, they also established early on that there's some clear daddy issues in terms of earning respect.
Yeah.
So you learn early on that this Kaz character is seeking that kind of
affirmation from
fatherly approval.
Yeah.
Of success.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of clinging on to every father figure that even comes, near to him.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell him and Yeager are definitely forming that bond. And speaking of Yeager, and one of the standout moments from episode 3, I think it was the fact that it's confirmed that Yeager was a rebel pilot.
Yeah. When
and he at least fought on the Battle of Jakku, which implies he was probably at Endor, maybe Yavin.
Yeah, so it's highly likely that he's seen.
And we know he knows Poe, so I mean, I do like, again, like I said, that they dangle stuff like that. But episode 3 was very light, and I'm just concerned that may continue, and I hope not, because I do get it. I mean, I understand where you want to kind of tell these mini tales within these 22-minute long episodes, but I do believe the success of a lot of the Star Wars animated projects has been the fact that they are also building upon an overarching narrative that also works for the show itself, but also works itself into the Star Wars universe canon.
Yeah, as a whole. I mean, if we reference, I mean, the obvious link with Clone Wars is there. I mean, it is essentially telling the full story between episodes 2 and 3, and it contains the 2 main characters of episodes 2 and 3, and Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So that's there, very clear. With Rebels, you have you have Phoenix Squadron, but they're also going around and they're essentially trying to thwart the efforts of the Empire, especially on Lothal, which is what you call Ezra's home planet. So they're tied direct, and then they also have their Contact and Fulcrum, which is Ahsoka from fucking Clone Wars. So I mean, there's very clear lines that cross. I mean, then you bring in Thrawn and a bunch of other shit too. So.
Right, and I kind of made that point. I mean, so far this show is truly trying to set itself as something unique for the Star Wars animated universe. I mean, it has not played the Force card whatsoever, and I don't see it going there at all.
Yeah, it would. I don't think that you can do it with any of the established characters. So if you were to try to bring the Force in, it would have to be a new character. Also,
I mean, you know, it would be badass. Would be fucking Jedi Master Luke Skywalker kind of just casually rolling through, checking in on things.
That would be cool.
Because he'd still be young Luke.
Yeah, he'd be younger Luke.
I mean, he'd probably be what? Would he be jaded by? Nah, he wouldn't.
No, because I don't think Kylo had fallen at this point. Because when Kylo falls is when like the First Order has really become a force.
I mean, what is? Can we get a Google check on this? What is the exact timeline? I mean, how many years outside of Jedi is this taking place? Because you'd have to imply if Kaz is a pilot for the New Republic, and he also said he's known nothing but the New Republic, right?
Yeah.
You got to figure we're like 18 years past Jedi.
It's set 7 years after the Battle of Endor.
Wow.
Oh wait, no. That's the live action. So that is Favreau. 7 years. Feature blah 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 blah. Resistance is set shortly after the First Order emerged as a galactic power, with the upheaval of the New Republic on the back foot. It doesn't say years here though. Yeah.
Well, like I said, if I can just do some crude math, people, and if you just buy into it, if I lay it out, Kaz, I forget in what episode, it's probably the pilot. He says he's known nothing but the New Republic.
Yeah.
The fact that he is a pilot in the New Republic, and his dad referenced that he went to this academy, that academy, this academy, you have to believe he is at least, and I think this is like the ultimate minimum, 18 years old.
Okay, so here, 34 ABY is the day that Kaz was.
Okay, yeah, dude. So this is fucking 4 years before TFA.
Yeah. So this is Luke is already gone.
Yeah, Luke's in La La Land.
Yeah, Luke is already gone.
Yeah, Luke's Gonzo.
So he's probably not going to see that.
No, it's good to know though.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense then, because yes, Kaz truly would. That's all he's known is the New Republic.
Yeah, I mean
for decades.
Yeah, I mean the New Republic has been the seat of galactic power and stability for a long time now. There's the only way that he would know of the rebellion is through stories, like he said, like
right.
Stories about the Battle of Jakku.
It's history books at this point.
Exactly. I mean, it's 29 years after the Battle of Jakku, so that's far. I mean, and he looks like he is maybe in his upper teens.
Yeah, so he's probably like 20, 21.
Yeah, very, very innocent kid too for being a pilot. I'll say that. But so here's the thing. Here's a question I have for you.
You get Han and Chewie rolling through.
Could, especially at a station like that where it's a fueling station.
Of course.
Like, it's not like, this is linked in any way to the rebellion or to the resistance to the New Republic or anything like that. Like, this is just like they were essentially just running routes. Like, they were doing smuggler shit.
By this point, they're back to just being smugglers. Like, I mean, Han was peace. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done being family, man. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good call. I think it's a good call. I think that is a highly probable.
It would work. I doubt it happens, but
Yeah.
it would work. I mean, you never know. On Rebels, they folded in Leia.
Yeah.
They folded in Luke, for Christ's sake. Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
shit.
I mean, Obi-Wan on fucking, Tatooine.
Obi-Wan fucking kills Darth fucking Maul.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how important these animated shows are, my friend.
Okay, so here's a question. Do you think this show can survive long term if it never leaves the station?
Yeah. I think they have it structured in a way that the station it's a transient type of location where you can literally fold in any character faction at any time. So instead of the characters having to travel to meet new people, the new people are always going to be coming to meet them.
Yeah.
And I think that's how they're going to position it.
I'm just worried that the location itself will become stale somehow. Like the cool thing about Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff like that is, I mean, Rebels not as much.
No, dude, you're 100% right. But you could also look at traditional
television,
30-minute shows.
They're all set.
Sitcoms especially. I mean, they're literally sometimes in the same room.
Yeah, exactly.
For 13 years, maybe 2 rooms.
Yeah. So that's just something that's kind of...
I did. It's a legit concern, but I think with good storytelling, you can hide that a bit. You can almost discount that.
Yeah, and like Poe said, it's the biggest refueling station in the galaxy. So there's a lot of the areas that's been unexplored. I'm sure that they'll bring in different sections, different locations within the station that we haven't seen yet later in the series.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they could do a thread on Snoke.
They could. I mean, there's a lot.
I mean, even just people talking about him or working for him.
Yeah, I mean, even in this timeline, you could see Kylo. I mean, Kylo could be a character that is referenced, that is seen.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
We've already seen Phasma, so we know that there, the First Order presence is there, and we know that Phasma also works directly with, well, not really directly with Kylo, but in the same realm as Kylo, on the same ship at least at sometimes. So there's a lot of very interesting characters that could come in and out here based off of the type of location that they're working in. Like you said, it's like a transient location. It's not a we're not dependent on, a ship to get us different places like we were with, the Phantom 2 and the Ghost from Rebels, and we're not planet hopping all over the place due to a galactic war like we were in Clone Wars.
No, I mean, dude, his mission is literally you spy on this fuel station and you find that contact.
Yeah.
You find who the First Order is using to trade in whatever better deals for fuel, weapons, or just resistance intel.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's gonna leave, and like I said, I don't think that's a problem as long as we get good storytelling, and that it involves wrapping up the mini 20-minute stories as well as adding to the overarching narrative.
Yeah, I think that's key, is that the narrative, the larger
they have
narrative.
to hit that. Yeah, they have to make those ties to the old and the new, or just the new. I don't care, but they have to make those ties.
Yeah, you can't have too many self-contained episodes like the third one in the show if they wanted to live long term.
Right. I guess another thing I want to talk about. So in the end, what do you think about the visual style?
I think it's super eye-catching, and I really like it. It's new to take in, considering what we're so used to with Star Wars animation. At first, I mean, if you...
Would you call it an anime?
No. I think that...
I agree.
Anime is generally, more...
It's so loud and,
yeah,
way more vibrant and splashy and literally BAGA!
Yeah.
And there'd be, flashes behind me, LSD shit going on, blah!
Also, animes are very clearly more hand-drawn. There's more of a... Well, I don't want to say hand-drawn, but there's more of a traditional artistic style to it.
Yeah, it's with crack.
Yeah, and you get people with giant
cocaine
giant eyes and huge facial expressions, and
that's what I mean. I mean, if you say anime to me, my initial reaction is BAGA!
Yeah, I mean,
and just blah blah blah, and the music's bing gang.
I mean, if you the typical anime that a lot of people think of is Dragon Ball Z, and it doesn't feel like Dragon Ball Z to me. I mean, it doesn't have that feel.
Yeah. There's no over 9,000 type of moments going on.
No, it's much more subdued.
Dude, I mean, to me, it honestly looks like old school. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I very well could be. DreamWorks animation, an American Tail.
Okay, yeah, I never even...
Fievel Goes West or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that type of shit. it has more of that. It's almost an old school animation style, like not old school like Disney full on 2D, but kind of that like liquidy 2D.
Dude, I still say that it looks a lot like Borderlands. Like,
You think it's cell shaded?
It like, to me, the ships in particular feel like the way that they're painted and like the way that their colors overlap and stuff like that is very similar to like what vehicles and weapons look like in Borderlands.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know. It's very unique, if anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, I can't call it an anime.
No,
I can't.
No, I don't consider it an anime.
But I can't call it CG. I can't call it straight up 2D.
Yeah, it's very visually enthralling.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not bitching. That's the point. I'm trying to like figure out a genre to put it in, but
yeah, it's hard to.
It's different, but I mean, I think it works. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see a lightsaber in it.
That would be, yeah, I agree.
I don't know if we're gonna get that. I do think this show's gonna go for just pure, straight up, non-forced Star Wars.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
Who's your favorite character so far? I mean, we're only 3 episodes in. I mean,
dude, I mean, Niku is, you gotta love the guy. I know earlier you were kind of like, man, he's almost too kiddie, but he's Drax, but also can't be negative.
Yeah, he's almost like
Drax can get bummed out. This character has the inability to be bummed out.
Yeah, he's almost like an adolescent Drax, because it is like from the very
everything takes everything literally. I mean, if you say something to him, he'll run with it, and they do a great bit with that in the pilot, as Nick said. I mean, the best pilot in the galaxy. But he's also someone that if he gets horrible news, he will somehow figure out how to spin it in a positive light.
Yeah. I mean. And I have to say, man, like, it's very obviously David Cross's voice. Like, if you know what David Cross sounds like.
I mean, the voice actor, it's the guy that plays Homeboy on Silicon Valley. What's his name?
Is he in Silicon Valley? He played in Arrested Development. Yeah. He was, he was the husband. I can't remember his name now. God, that's killing me.
No, I mean, he's definitely one of the... He started out as one of the main characters, and he still pops up even now in Silicon Valley. I forget what they call it. He has a great name in it too. What the hell do they call him?
It wasn't Ehrlich, no, because Ehrlich's gone.
No, it's better than that.
I can't remember his name. I'm trying to find. God, this is...
You can do it.
Oh, wait, it's Josh. Okay, so the guy who voiced...
Big Head.
Yes, it's Big Head. It's not David Cross, it's Big Head, yeah.
Yeah, his name's Josh
Brenner,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Actually, he sounds like David Cross. God, never mind.
No, dude. It's Josh Brenner. That's the guy.
Yeah. But, yeah, dude, he is... The character is really funny the way he's written. Like
he's a different type of Star Wars character.
Yeah,
I mean, he's like I said, he's literally Drax, but also can't be negative. He just can't. Nothing gets him down.
Yeah, it's like you said. It's a character that we've never seen before in Star Wars, especially Star Wars animation. There's never been that style of character. Like if you think through all of Phoenix Squadron, there wasn't like. I mean, I don't even like. It definitely wasn't any of the. I mean, the closest you would get is Chopper, maybe. I don't know, but like Chopper wasn't even like.
Nah, dude, Chopper was a straight. Chopper, honestly, I think is, what do they call him? Buckethead or what's the droid in this one?
Oh yeah, it's
Bucket.
Yeah, Bucket or Helmet. Yeah, I think it's Bucket. Because it's Bucket or Helmet.
Sure
he's always got the fucking Rebellion pilot helmet on his head.
It's Bucket. I mean, dude, he's literally a bare bones astromech. I mean, he has no outer shell. Yeah. His head is literally just the eye on a some sort of neck structure. He's wearing a helmet. and his body's all stripped. It's just the bare bones parts.
Yeah.
But he acts very Chopper-like. I mean, he kind of talks that way.
Yeah.
Like the...
Yeah, I mean, Chopper was, like, manic. Like, he was fucking super animated.
Chopper is... I mean, he is one of my favorite. The droids are so well written. It's hard to honestly say one's better than the other.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, between 3PO, R2,
BB,
BB, Chopper, and maybe even eventually Bucket, can you really say one's better than the other?
Yeah, Elite, K2, throw those in there too.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, I suck. I can't believe I forgot those guys. But yeah, can you honestly say one's better than the other?
No, I mean...
They're all so fantastic.
And they're all so unique, too. It's not like...
Exactly.
It's very easy. It would be very easy, especially with the non-vocal droids like, you know, R2-BB, Chopper, Bucket, to, like, kind of blend their characteristics a little bit.
No, but honestly, they're the most different.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make the argument that C-3PO and Leet have similar qualities, as does K2.
Yeah.
I mean, they all have that very dry droid approach to dealing with humanoids.
Yeah, where, like, K2 is definitely very derivative.
He's more murderous.
Yeah.
Leet's more like,
so,
you know, fuck you, power to the droids.
Yeah. Like,
and C-3PO is essentially a subservient slave.
Yeah, exactly.
And he embraces that role. Like, that's what he wants.
Yeah. So, and then, like you said, yeah, like, all of the non-vocal droids are very different. Like, R2...
But, I mean, I guess you're right. The astromechs, they're all kind of just fucking ornery asses. I mean...
Yeah.
Unless R2 honestly just acts the way he does because of all the years of abuse from 3PO.
Yeah, from the fucking moment they met. Like, there was some funny shit.
I mean, at least the moment we meet him, yeah, I mean, it's just nothing but he's just throwing digs at him nonstop. I mean, ball buster.
But, yeah, man, I don't know. I'm trying to think of, like, my...
I love that it all boils over in A New Hope, and R2 just is like, fuck off.
Yeah, it's like, go.
He fucking rolls.
I'm the fuck.
I mean, you gotta think about it. Those droids were, like, always together, and finally, that moment, R2's just like, you know what, man, fuck you. I got a mission, believe me or not, blow it, fuck off.
Yeah, it's like,
he just rolls. He's like, fuck off, I'm out. That's the first time R2's like, I'm out,
like,
dude.
I can't deal with your shit. And he does. He rolls out. But, yeah, I'm trying to think, like, what was interesting to me is, like, we really didn't see the aces in this show yet. 3 episodes in. The only time that we saw the aces was, in the pilot where we see the race.
You had the big race sequence in the pilot, which was minimal in terms of the overall episode.
Yeah.
But then you also had the dogfight in episode 2.
Yeah.
Which shows that they are. I mean, yes, they're the best racers, but they are also
the defenders of the station.
The best pilots, and their ships are also defense.
Dope. Yeah. So, I'm looking forward to seeing them come into it and see what their role exactly is going to be and how they interact with Kaz. Interested to see how, like, you know, what each of their personalities are. Like, we know that Hype is going to be like the blown out, like, big-headed person. Like, I'm the best. Everybody knows I'm the best. And then...
Well, you can tell the station's commander's daughter is probably going to develop the closest relationship
with Kaz.
With him.
Yeah, for sure. That relationship was established very early, too. Like you said, him picking her to race against to kind of make his bones to, like, show.
Well, yeah, I mean, he probably would have beat her, but, I mean, in the end, she still likes him.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell. I mean, she's at least intrigued by him.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Right now, I mean, I think that Tam is a really cool character. She's, like, a no-nonsense chick, like, and just calls Kaz out on his shit all the time. Like, oh, yeah, you were a fucking mechanic on Coruscant. You went to the mechanics academy, and, like, she has no bones about saying, like, you're full of shit.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like,
she's a ball buster.
Yeah, so I think that she's really cool. And, yeah, man, I mean, really, like, Aunt Z, the bartender, I think she's hilarious, dude. Just so dry, like, does not give, like, you can tell that lady has probably fucking thrown fists in a bar fight on that fucking station before. Like,
and she kind of looks like Unkar Plot's type, right?
oh yeah, like a little bit.
Or not.
Maybe like the head
Am I
shape
off
is a little
on that
different. Like in I mean, the skin color is for sure the same. I think they're probably different species, but they have some similar traits. But yeah, man, I do like the way that they're kind of building the characters. I wonder how, like, because Jarek Yeager's, he's very dry. I wonder if I assume that he's going to open up once he gets a little bit more comfortable with Kaz. Yeah, dude, I think that, like, I'm pretty happy with it so far. I think there's a lot of places to go.
Honestly, the biggest thing that bums me out is we're weeks and weeks away from new content.
Yeah, I know. We're weeks
we're talking out. The 28th before we get the next fresh episode.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to stay ahead on the app. Like, I wonder if...
I feel like they almost fucked that up. Like, someone hit the switch at the wrong time.
Yeah. I mean, I've really...
Because, and there, like I said, I get... After I got invited to the last Celebrations media, I'm now on at least Disney's Lucasfilm list. I'm not on the main Lucasfilm list, unfortunately. But I get press releases, and I just got a press release, I think it was yesterday, for this week's episode, which is...
the one we already saw.
Has already been released. Yeah.
I mean...
I was like, okay.
I hope that, I don't think they're going to do it. It would be cool if they stayed like 1 week, like they would release episode 4 on the app when they released episode 2. I don't think they're going to do that, but it is kind of disappointing that we got like essentially a bomb drop all 3 episodes, and now we have to wait 3 weeks to get something new.
I mean, they definitely blew their load, as they'd say.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude, any like final thoughts you want to throw out on Resistance?
I mean, it's just something, I guess, if you were kind of hating on it just because it's new and that's kind of the cool thing to do these days, I would at least watch the pilot. I mean, the pilot's definitely the best of the first 3 episodes. With that being said, I mean, it's still worth watching.
Yeah.
Especially on the app. I mean, commercials are non-existent. You're not going to spend more than 26 minutes probably to watch episodes 2 or 3. First episode, you're probably looking at about 48 minutes total.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good. It looks good. There are connections to the old and the new, more geared towards the new, which I want, and I want to see more of that actually. And that's my biggest beef so far in these first 3 episodes is it kind of just tails off after the first episode in terms of connecting the dots between. All right, we know what's going on in TFA. We know what happened after Jedi. We know there's this long block that we're going to get filled in by stuff like The Mandalorian and maybe Johnson and DB and their series. But now we got this period right before TFA where the First Order's really starting to show its power or starting to become known. Let's see that. Let's get more of that. And that's. I just hope we go that way.
Yeah. There's a lot of awesome things that can be covered in this show. And I think that if I could give anybody advice on, the mindset going into it, it's that don't expect this show to be like the movies. Like, the show is not going to have the same tone as the movies. The show is not going to have the same, I don't want to say focus, but like it's not built for the same audience. I don't want to say it's a kid's show because there's obviously some things in there that's, that appeal to the hardcore Star Wars fans, but don't expect this to be the same type of show that The Mandalorian is going to be. They're 2 different things.
I'm really hoping Mandalorian goes for the equivalent of a PG-13 in TV land.
Yeah, I don't think...
If not, TVMA or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to get full Thrones just because, like you said, it's still Disney, but...
Yeah, it's going to be on Disney. So.
I would still like to see, like, a hard kind of, like, cable, like, almost like I'm trying to think of, like, fucking cable shows.
Oh, dude, these days, the shit AMC gets away with, it's worse than what HBO puts out.
But, like, even if it was to the level of, like, Gotham, where you have, like, some significant violence in it, and, like, I mean, I know that Gotham is sometimes a bit campy, but
totally.
like
I know exactly what you're saying.
yeah, so like that style I think would be really cool. And I mean, like, to me, it looks like the show is going to have some grit to it. I mean, like, that initial photograph that they put out of the main character was just fucking... It was so... I mean, like, it wasn't, like, this blown-out, like, beautiful shot, but it was, like, such a stark image. Like, this dude in that armor, it's such an iconic look. I think that, like, they've really... Like, even, you know, with the little information that we have about it, that show is set up to be some fucking strong stuff.
No, I'm looking forward to it. So, anyways, I think we've worked through our agenda of new news items. Hopefully next week will bear more fruit. You never know. I always like getting the episode 9 stuff. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to lie. That's where my focus is at right now. I know there's other things to kind of dangle our little lightsabers into, but let's be honest. What we all want is the culmination of this new trilogy. Whether you like the TLJ or not, you know you want to see how this thing's going to be wrapped up. So hopefully we'll get something out of that. You never know. If we don't, we'll definitely make something up, and we'll be talking about Star Wars next week. As always, thanks for listening, my friends. Honestly, we appreciate it. I don't know how you're consuming it. We love that you consume it. Keep doing it. Share it if you like it. Comment, tell us what you want to hear. We're up for topic submissions, whatever. Like I said, we know there are people listening. I don't know how many. I know there's more than 10, more than 50, sometimes more than a couple hundred. You never know. But we just want to know if you like what we're doing, or if you want us to talk about other stuff or topics that are more specific. All right? Drop us a line. Until then, may the Force be with you always.